It worked out really well in a lot of areas, but not in finances. And so this organization says no more, shut it down, never again. But I studied the two, and I figured out three things that were critical financially, why they had failure, financially speaking. They had some success in many other areas, spiritual and fellowship. And I happened to be in Denver, Colorado. God would wake me up at night, early, about 2 or 3 in the morning, which I don't wake. I sleep good through that time. And he says, you know, you're in Middle America. You're in Denver. You should create an invitational camporee. Try to keep these things, this internet, these camporees going. So the first one was an NEC camporee. The second was Columbia Union camporee. Columbia Union sponsors as an invitational. And the third one was. There was no sponsor. It's just a bunch of lay people, myself. We said, why don't we put an invitational together? And I'm happy to tell you the conference I was working in at the time, Rocky Mountain Conference, says, we give you permission to work 2 jobs. You go ahead and take care of all the other jobs, responsibility, and if you want to run an international camporee, but hear me clearly, we'll give you no money. There's no money. If you go in debt, you're in debt. So my wife and I, Betty and I, we talked about. Early on, I talked about it. I said, I think God's calling me to offer an invitation, to bring Pathfinders together all over the world. Make it international now, not just North America, but international. And she says, oh, really? She says, that's called a nightmare. She says, that's what you're having. You're having nightmares. You shouldn't be thinking about that. And I said, no. And so, night after night, over a series of about 2 or 3 months, I keep explaining to her, I've just got this impression. This is the assignment. You know, and maybe this has happened to you. This is the assignment. This is what I need you to do. You just know in various ways that God's telling you, this is what I need you to do. So eventually she came around. I went to my president. He allowed me to work 2 jobs. He put me in front of the executive committee to vote that. Officially, no money, have fun, work 2 jobs. And then I had these amazing lay people I worked with, area coordinators. They said, we'll help you. We'll do whatever, you know. Let's just make it happen. We rented Red Rocks Amphitheater. I took I don't know if I hope you haven't had to have to do this. Betty and I talked about taking a mortgage out on our house, so we had some cash to kind of do some marketing, kind of get it out there, you know, so we could tell the world, kind of come. This is back in the day in 1994 was where I got Dairy Care Camporee in 94. And I tell you this story because it illustrates to you, I know it does to me, that if God is in it, He's going to find a way to make it happen. It's His will. And if you've been to enough international camporees, you've seen Him protect us from storms. He's split storms that have gone around us. He's put a giant cross in the sky our final night. He's done amazing things to show His presence at these international camporees. I saw the same thing in Australia last week. Massive storm, hail. The community came out and says, you got to vacate. Didn't have enough time, couldn't do it, and the storm just hovered around the mountains around us, never came down to where we were. And of course, we just couldn't help but praise God. He protects, He watches over it. He's going to watch over. So we got this going. We had Red Rocks, 12,000 people are coming. That was big numbers back then, not today. Who would believe we'd be this big today? But the 12,000 were coming. That's all that Red Rocks can see. Red Rocks Amphitheater is kind of a classic. There's only 3 places like it in the world. And then we had this great campground. A dentist gave us his property, very cheap, everything. And then the thing called Waco, Texas happened. Can you go back in time, some of you in this room? Waco, the crash. Afghanistan got connected to this building that burned down and all this confusion and stuff. And the dentist, who's not of my faith, he looked at me and says, I'm sorry, we just can't. We can't. I'm just not comfortable. You know, I just don't. I said, no problem. Because I'm not going to try to talk him into using his property. He doesn't understand it. But we had a great amphitheater, nowhere to camp, 12,000 people. I'm talking 6 months before everybody showed up. So what would you do if you were me? And we're willing to mortgage your house. By the way, I didn't have to. It's amazing. As soon as we advertised it, people bought tickets and everything. Here we come, from all over the world. We're willing, you know, what would you do though if you're in a situation, you have this place, you have 12,300 people coming, and you have no place to camp them, but you got a great, you're pretty obligated to use that amphitheater. You can't put them anywhere. What would you do? What would be your approach to that? No wrong answer. What would be your approach? Cancel. That's one option. Yeah, postpone or cancel. Yeah. What else would be an option, would you say? You're thinking, what are you thinking?
I think we can do several things. We can move the venue, right, to the closest thing. Try to use Airbnb to all the local houses, you know, try to provide accommodations.
Yeah.
You can build portable tents for housing.
Right. Yeah, you'd fall back and try to figure out any angle to try to keep it alive and keep it going. Because people already bought their airline tickets, they already bought.
They're committed.
They're committed, and it fell apart on my end. The event is not on their end. And how do you call them back? So yeah. Well, I'm sorry?
Find somewhere else.
Find somewhere else? Get a tab? Go somewhere? Yeah. We thought all those things. The Red Rocks were pretty locked in, and a lot of our money, we had hooked our wagon to Red Rocks pretty heavy. And so what we did is we went to our knees, we went to prayer and fasting and asked God, okay, what are you going to do here? How are you going to see us forward? And right across the hogback is a term used in Denver. It's a little hill before you get to Red Rocks. Is a racetrack. It's called Vandermeer Speedway. And if you're a motorhead, if you're a vehicle, it's where the Dodge Mopar Nationals are. So we went there, knocked on the door, tried to meet with the owners. They were in a meeting, 3 brothers. I walk in and says, hey, fellas, we'd like to use your speedway as a campground so we can use Red Rocks for 6 days for international camporee, a group called Pathfinders. It's focused mostly on ages 10 to 16. And they said, oh, thank you for sharing that with us. And they're very professional, very nice, and they said, we'll get back to you. Well, if you know anything about, if you read people, they didn't ask a lot of questions. They were just being very nice that I crashed their meeting. And they called me the next day and they said, well, thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate it, but we're not able to. This is how we make a living with this property. We don't want to jeopardize it with kids, a lot of kids. You said 12,000? Yeah. But I said, they're great. Yeah, they're all good. So they get that. They got what's going on. And so they were saying no politely. We had nowhere to go. But I had a youth rally coming up. And one of the 3 brothers was a Christian, I found out. I invited him to the youth rally. It was with a young man named Daniel Sogavia from Central America, who had both arms cut off because he stood up for God. His family, his relatives, because he became a Christian, threatened him, came out to where he was taking care of livestock, and they told him he was going to take his life. What happened, he was running from them, and he took a machete, took one arm off, and he kept running, even bleeding profusely. And he put his other arm up, and he took that arm off. And the village had come out, the community had come out, the guys ran away that did the damage on him. They transported him an hour and a half. He had no blood pressure, because you have to have blood in your veins to have blood pressure. He didn't have blood pressure, but God pulled him through. And he's standing in front of the young people in Denver, Colorado, where I was youth director, giving his testimony through a translator, explaining his walk with God and his story, why he stood up for God. Powerful story. Dave Vandermeer, one of the three brothers of the property, sitting in the audience. The kids responded to this appeal of this young man about standing up for God no matter what. This is your best friend. He stood up for you on the cross. We can stand up for him. It was his story. And the kids were right there with him at the youth rally. They started picking up their hats, and they took a coat, put part of the zipper up, started passing it around. What's going on? They were collecting money so that they could get, what do you call this?
Prosthetics.
Yeah, prosthetics. And they knew we had a connection with Loma Linda, our medical school out west. And they said, well, we're going to raise money here today to get this young man, because he had nothing there, kind of going. And they did it spontaneously. We work with some of the best young people. Sometimes they're a little distracted, okay? Focus. But sometimes they get it, and they go somewhere with it. And that's what I love about club ministry, Pathfinder ministry, is we allow them some space to get it and go somewhere with their walk with God. Dave Vandermeer and I are walking out of the youth rally. He looks at me, he says, hey, are all your kids like the kids there in that youth rally? I said, they sure are. And they're even a cut above because they're Pathfinders. He says, give me some time, my brothers. So he went back. I don't know what he did to the brothers. He beat them up. I don't know what he did. But he came back a few days later and says, hey, we want to offer you our facility. Let's talk about price and everything. We got it to where it was reasonable. Great story. And then I had to bring something else up. I don't know if you've ever been to a racetrack, motor speedway track, but there's alcohol advertising all over the place and tobacco. Okay? I said, Dave, and I said, brothers, the kids were bringing here tonight, the influence of those billboards at the property where we're camping, it just, is there any option? And the other two brothers said, there's no option. In fact, all three actually. There's no option. We have a contract agreement. In fact, we make money on those things. And then one of the brothers looks at me and says, you know what? I got an idea. Those billboards need to be cleaned, don't they? In fact, they need to be cleaned in August on the Pathfinders here. Why don't we clean up those billboards, take them down and clean them up while your Pathfinders are here? And they start working with us. Great story. This illustrates, as we're faithful, God's going to take care of you and your leadership in your moment. The favorite story for fundraising, the guy at Dare to Care Camporee, he's coming across the country in a broken down Suburban, getting his kids there to the Camporee, Dare to Care. He's rolling in, I guess in Topeka, Kansas, his transmission blew up. He knew opening night at Red Rocks was Tuesday night, had to be there. So he had a AAA Plus card. You know what a AAA card is?
Yeah.
A AAA Plus card is kind of nice. You pay a little extra, but they'll haul you. I think it's 300 miles or something. Was it? 500 miles. That's what it is. So what he did is this guy had to have his kids there. They're rolling in. I'm meeting, greeting. This Suburban, this broken down Suburban, on the back of a tow truck. They're all in a crew cab waving at me. Pastor Ron, I said, hey, what happened? He said, yeah, it's opening night tonight, right? Yeah, well, we're here. We made it. Talked to the guy later. He used his AAA, Topeka, Kansas. He calls AAA, I need help. And he hauled him 500 miles. And then he got out, they dumped him out. He called AAA, oh, I need help again. Another 500 miles. He went almost 1,500 miles on his AAA car to get his kid. Another illustration. If you will it, and you're partnering with God, you're going to work, you're going to find a way. Yeah. You're going to find a way. Close with this one story about fundraising. You might want to do this in the lobby of your church. In Southern California Conference, he put up a picture, right? He put up a a map, if you will, from Southern LA, Los Angeles, all the way out to Oshkosh. And so he put a little pins in this map on a tripod in the lobby. And it cost this much money to get here and to get to this next little pin, And he has a little fabric, a little piece of twine that went all the way out to Oshkosh. Every single week prior to Oshkosh, he or some of the kids something, go up and ask the pastor just for 30 seconds. They don't want a minute, 30 seconds. And the little kid goes up and says, hello, church family. We have some kind of a fundraiser. Hope you can come and support it. And by the way, because of your support, we're now out of Los Angeles. We're in the desert. So go see. And so it became the church family experience. They all took the trip together. He told me a story about how they got to Las Vegas. And he had the right teenage kid says, hey church family, we're in Las Vegas, but we don't want to stay here very long. A lot of bad influence. If you'll come out to the next fundraiser or you donate, get us out of Las Vegas. We want to go up and see, I think they're going out to something else. They want to go see some national park or something. And so the whole church family took the journey with it. And the only time I'm told that the director stood up there was when they were in Oshkosh. They got all the way up. He says, church family, we're in Oshkosh, we're having a great time, we're seeing Pathfinders from all over the world, we're trading pins, we're doing all kinds of amazing things. But church family, please bring us home. Please bring us home. Please bring us home. We're having a great. And so they took a journey all the way back. In fact, 2 or 3 people extra blessed in the congregation financially. We're all blessed. Some are blessed in a unique way. They actually accelerated, got them home a lot quicker than they expected. Because once part of the church family, they see the commitment to the young people, there's others with some dollars sometimes will step in. They don't want to step in first. It's a little fundraising tip. They're not going to, they don't want to be ahead of everybody else participating. Because a lot of times we rely on those people too often, too much. So there's a little tip. There's some more. We might offer that to tomorrow's seminar. We'll have the video set up a little bit for you. I'll give you some videos that you can use in your church. I know it's time for supper. Is that right? We're on that? Yeah, right now. So let me, I'll stay by if you have any questions. Or I'm sensitive. I want to try to get you supper. I don't want you to be hungry. These are half-hour people. Is there anything, though, right as I get ready for prayer that we should be highlighting? You have a question about before I stay by? You're thinking? Yep.
Quick question. Concerning transportation-wise, how far is the airport from the campsite itself?
Yeah, there's what the people around the world are telling me. The airport there is a small little airport. They're trying to bring extra flights in, but it still won't accommodate our city, our size city of 55, 60. So some are going in. You don't want to go into South Dakota because there's a biking thing going on. It's so far away from us. It doesn't affect us except if you go into Rapid City, South Dakota, it's not a good option. Some people are going into Salt Lake City and coming across, going to see Yellowstone and then come to Camp Brewery. Some are coming to Denver. Most are coming to Denver, Colorado, and getting a Coach USA bus to take them up to Gillette. It's 5 hours drive, right straight up, no traffic, nothing out there. So it's a beautiful drive. It's wide open space. That's if you're doing ground and air. That's a combination. You've got 3 airports here, and to Denver, there's some real discount airlines opportunities. There's 2 conferences that are going to charter a plane actually to bring into Gillette. The airport's only about 10 minutes, okay, 12 minutes between the airport and the campplex, the Gillette airports. Small airports, everything there is really close. There is a Walmart there. We are working with Walmart already. It will be the #1 retail Walmart in the world. When we show up, it is. And get your newsletter, and you can pre-order things. They'll pre-package. They're already talking how they're going to do that. So you can come, pick up, and get out there. They're talking about trying to get delivery out to the campground itself, so you don't have to go back and forth. So they're working hard, and we're working with Walmart corporate in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Salem Springs, northern Arkansas. So the newsletter is going to tell you some good information about how to make your life effective in that area. You had a thought, somebody over here.
Yeah. So it sounds like that that the Gillette, Wyoming, has really extended themselves to you.
They really have.
Yeah. So are you guys looking to just have a relationship just with the camp, or are you looking for something more long-term with them?
Yeah, he's asking if you could hear, Gillette, Wyoming's rolled out the red carpet. They have. Hear me. They're putting $1.3 million just in our assembly area. They are. We are. They're They're resurfacing everything, replanting grass, they're putting irrigation. They're bringing in electricity, so we don't have to rent these generators that make extra noise, you don't see it. And they're bringing in fiber optics, if you know what this means, some of you do. 100 gigabytes, so that we can do things with drones and things that we've never been able to do in programming. This is what Gillette's done. They're putting 1.3 million just in the assembly area.
Are you looking to do headquarters or like?
It'll probably be there twice. The International Camping will definitely be there twice. Who knows the future after that? But they're investing in us, and they want us there long term. And this is their, for Gillette, Wyoming, we are their Super Bowl. We are their Olympics. When we called them after we went, I didn't tell you the whole voting process we went through, which I can't believe I'm telling you this. Every single process that we put in place, and there's quite a process that I haven't explained to you, to get it voted, to get it moved, everything, it was always unanimous. And it never happened, ever. I don't know at your local church, somebody always votes no just to vote no. Yeah. You know, I'm just going to vote no. Why'd you vote no? I don't know. I just didn't think we should have a unanimous vote. You know? But it just felt that God, okay, He's found us a new spot, a new place for Israel to go. We're going to go. The community can't wait to see us. They're really rolling out. They're putting a lot of effort in. You'll see a little video package. Go to campree.org. We introduce you to different people in the community. Little video packages on the Campree website. Father God, thank you for your presence in our lives personally, in our ministry professionally. This is what you've called us to do. Help us to be worthy of this calling in the last days here. Give us insights and abilities beyond our natural gifts. This is our prayer. And bless the food. In your name, amen. Amen. Okay, see you tomorrow too.
Any questions, reach out 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Sorry.
I will see you.
I'm here.